We may have a couple more people maybe joining in, but we'll go ahead and get started because I know we have such a short time and we want your voices to be heard today. We want to have some good conversation. I'm Amy Ashcraft from the United States in Ohio, and I'm a teacher and a presenter. And I've met many of you on previous mashups. Glad you came back. We have an interesting topic today that I'm going to let David introduce in a few minutes. But when we share things today, hi, Perrin, we're going to do it a little bit different. Last time we'd like ask a question and I would call on people. I would like to see, because you did such a great job, I'd like to see if we could like introduce a question and then let you guys have the conversation. So not necessarily calling on you, but letting you contribute when you have something to say. That way, if somebody says something and you want more information or clarification, I want this to be more about you having a conversation with each other from around the world. So we're going to try that. The only thing I would ask is remember that we have, several people on here, and we do want everybody to have a chance to have a voice and have a conversation. So, trying to keep it somewhat concise so everybody can have time to talk if you would like to. All right, David, you want to go ahead and introduce our topic or introduce yourself?
For sure. Thank you, Amy. Hello, everyone. I'm David from Evolving Education. I'm currently based in Mexico, and we support teachers and educators to bring out the best version of them by learning from a diversity of perspectives about how to improve education from the most innovative schools around the world. And today we're going to be talking about cultures. I'm happy that I recognize some of the faces here. I saw some of your presentations yesterday. I even was in one of the panels, I think, with a couple of you. So it's great to see you here. And this is as Amy, right? Not Aime, which is the pronunciation that we have in Mexico. As Amy said, we're going to be talking about what is important to you about your culture. I see that each of us is in a different place of the planet, and this is amazing that we have the chance to connect with each other and learn from each other. And this event, it's about youth, about innovation, about education, and why not about cultures as well. And education and culture plays a very related role because our education should prepare us to live in our own culture, to keep on developing, to integrate with it, and to value the diversity of cultures that are around the world. So let's follow on that spirit and learn from all of you what's important to you about your culture, what you enjoy about them. So maybe that can be a way to start just with an open question. What would you like to share about your culture so that everyone can know about it? And you can feel free to unmute yourself. Maybe you can raise your hand just so that everyone else can see you. Not necessarily Amy or I, but just so that everyone knows who comes next. And we can kind of pass that virtual ball to each other around the world. So who would like to start? I see a hand raised there.
Do we want to start with introductions first, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, let's do that. Maybe when the first person that goes to start can say name, where you're from, and you can answer that question about what will you like to share about your culture, and then we go next to, and again we start with name, where you're from, and what you would like to share. So Mastura, if I pronounce your name well, I'm sure you can correct me now.
Yeah, actually, I love calling me my clan name. It's Nantume. So I'm sorry, I put it last because in organizing them, they say it's Mastura has to be my first name. So yeah, I'm so happy being here. My name is Nantume Mastura. I love calling me Nantume. I've come in my culture outfit. It's the one I'm putting on right here. So that's our culture outfit, and I'm so happy being here. What is most important in my culture is the respect for others, and yeah, so I'll pass it to another person.
Thank you very much. And thank you for bringing your clothes as well. I did the same today. I got this as a present for my birthday very recently. And this is a traditional clothing from Oaxaca and Chiapas in the south of Mexico. I'm actually from Spain, but I've been living in Mexico now for 3 years and kind of integrating more and more in the culture. And a Mexican friend also gave this to me. So thank you for sharing. And I think we both came here with the same ideas. Who comes next?
Go ahead, Sid.
Okay, could you repeat like what we're talking about? Because for some reason I just forgot. But I know I had something to say.
I think we were just having you introduce
Sure, so you
yourself
can
and-
introduce in.
Yeah, my name is Siddharth Vikram. I'm 9 years old and in 4th grade. I'm interested in stuff like innovation, science, engineering, coding, and stuff like that. And the culture that I'm going to be talking today is about India. So, yeah.
Sid, do you have something
All right,
important you want to share about your culture?
I'll share when the questions arise.
Oh, this is the question already. So we are just having an open conversation. So if there's something that you would like to start sharing, that would be great.
Something amazing about my culture is the sweets, I have to say.
This week?
Like candies and stuff.
Sweets.
Sweets. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah, in India, you do have lots of varieties of sweets. Yeah, a very sweet taste and also super sweet tea and other delicious things. Thank you. Who would like to continue?
Can I go next?
Yes.
So I am Gianna Pal. I am 11 years old and I'm from India. And I am wearing an Indian traditional dress called anarkali suit.
Wow, that's beautiful. So many details. Thank you for sharing it with us.
I love your background.
And I
too.
see that I think both you and your sister, I'm guessing, because you both have the same surname, decided to use a nice background.
Thank you.
I'm actually gonna change my background so you can see where I'm actually at. Go ahead.
I'm Sriya Akpal from grade 2, 7-year-old inventor from India. I'm wearing
Thank you,
India's
Sriya.
traditional
And which part
dress.
of India?
I'm wearing traditional dress of India, lehenga.
And which part of India are you in?
Gurgaon. Gurgaon. It's
Can you
in
say that
Delhi.
again?
It's near Delhi.
All right. Okay, so in the north of the country. I think India has so much cultural diversity just within itself. That's why many people call it a subcontinent. I love it. I went all the way from the north, crossing from Nepal to the south to Tamil Nadu. And it was beautiful to interact with all the people there. Thank you for sharing your dresses.
Yes, India is a very vast country. And there are many cultures and languages and also many religions that are followed here.
Yeah, I think it's an example of how we can live together with diversity within our borders of languages, of religions, and in a peaceful way. So that's beautiful.
Yes, it is an example of unity and diversity.
Who would like to go next to say their name, age, where you are from?
Go ahead, Perrin.
So, first of all, I think something that we can do, it just a suggestion to make this be able to go, that once a person's done, they could call the name of another person and then it can go like in a chain. So, for example, when I'm done, I can call on, let's say, Alex to go next so that we could just pass the ball like that. So, with that being said, hey, hello everybody. My name is Perrin, and I'm a Filipino homeschooler who is currently living in Saudi Arabia. And I've been in Saudi Arabia the past 10 years of my life. And while my culture is my culture is Filipino, and I was born in the Philippines, I can share with you something that happens almost every single day here in Saudi Arabia. Whenever you meet a person, you say this phrase called "Assalamu alaikum," which basically means "May peace be upon you," and that's kind of like a formal kind of greeting that you say to another person to say, kind of like, "Hey, I'm a nice guy. I'm friendly. I'm not gonna hurt you, and may peace be upon you." So that's something you say to a person whenever you meet them and you like want to say hello, and then you can follow that by, the weather is pretty good today. And that's just a little piece of culture that I wanted to share from the country I'm living in, which is Saudi Arabia. And with that being said, I can pass the ball to Asher. Asher Makisa.
Thank you, Perrin. And just to make a note there, well, first of all, I think it's a great thing to say, because I think to welcome, say hello to people. Asher went on.
This is a barong. Barong Tagalog is a long-sleeved formal shirt for men it is the national dress of the Philippines. They can't see you. Sorry. I was trying to show you.
It's okay. Maybe you can kind of change the background, and that way we'll see you fully.
Sorry.
It's okay. You described it very well.
That's it.
Yeah. Right. Wait.
Hold it like this. Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Asher. Do you want to pass it to the
Yes.
I'm gonna pass it to
Hello everyone, I'm Alir Makaisa. I'm 14 years old and in the 9th grade. I like all things crafty, like crocheting, baking, and sewing. And and I also like reading manga and Korean web novels. And today I'll be sharing about my culture, the Philippines. I'll pass the ball to Sam.
Hi, I'm Alex
Also
Samuel.
a core culture.
Okay, so I'm a Philippine. I'm Alex Samuel Simakaisa. I'm a Filipino homeschooler based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The thing again I'm gonna share about my culture is pulveron. Pulveron is practically Filipino style shortbread made of toasted flour, powdered milk, sugar, and butter. Sweet butter. But it tastes sweet and buttery. And our favorite version is actually cookies and cream. But there are also flavors like pinig pig or Rice Krispie, or chocolate, or panadan.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's actually, I must say, this is something that we share from Spain. It's actually even the same name, polvorón. And we have it around Christmas as well. I think this is part of the cultures that we share. And who would like to go next? Oh, and by the way, Perrin, you suggested something very, very good, to pass on the ball from one person to another to point who comes next. And that's a great way to do it. The reason why sometimes we don't do this is just not to point people and and put them in a position where they have to do something maybe when they are not prepared necessarily, or they wouldn't want to. But I feel like this group, everyone is quite engaged already and willing to share. So if everyone's happy with it, we can keep on going this way.
And if you do pass it and you don't want to respond at that time, you can pass it to someone else and just pass. So I think we have Preston left. With Preston, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, all right. Hello. Yeah, I'm the brother of Perrin, so we're kind of similar in background. I'm also a Philippine homeschooler, but I'm older than him since I'm 15 years old and grade 10. And some of my interests are neuroscience, physics, the arts, and yeah, sports too. So yeah, I think I'm the last. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
We are happy you are here. Let's start with Sam got me excited about food. Everybody likes to talk about food, right? Let's share something about either a habit or something about a special food that your culture shares. Do you want to share that? And we can start with whoever would like to start. Go ahead, Sid.
So let's see, for food, in my culture, one of the foods that I love to eat is avlaki, and it is very amazing when you eat it. And yeah, what else? Nothing. I would like to pass it on to the next person that I see. Okay, according to my screen, Shreya goes next, if I'm saying your name.
In India, beef is totally banned, and Hindus in India worship cow and considers them as a symbol of mother. And few people in my culture offer food to God before eating and say prayer, as my grandmother does that.
It's really profound and really beautiful as well. That care that in your culture there is for cows and the representation it brings into spirituality. Thank you. Who will you suggest to go next?
Yeah.
In our culture, we first thank God for the food and then we start eating. And we don't eat eggs, fish, meat, or poultry, but we do eat dairy fruits, vegetables, and grains. And we eat a lot of spices.
Let's see.
I would like to pass it on to Alira.
Talking about food, adobo, Filipino adobo, is a dish composed of meat slices, which can be pork, chicken, pork, or sometimes even beef that is cooked in soy sauce, vinegar, and garlic. There are other versions where onions are also added. Adobo is a popular dish in the Philippines, along with sinigang. And my favorite is the one my mom makes, which is saucy, so I can drown my rice in it.
Nice. You describe it so detailedly that you made me want to taste it right now. Thank you. But who wants to jump next? Feel free to unmute yourself and keep going the conversation in a casual way. Yeah. Nantume?
Yeah, so what I shared in the background is the culture food. So that is matoke, and it's the main culture food here in Uganda. So we eat that with our hands, and it's very sweet and yummy. So every child raised here has to learn how to peel that food, because we peel it with our hands, and it's like for someone to be disciplined or maybe culturally disciplined, something like that, they have to be knowing how to peel that. And yeah, I know I'm good on that side, because yeah, food is just a nice thing. Yeah.
I wish I could taste all these.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on the time of the day that you're into, you might be feeling really hungry right now. Let's see who would like to go next. I see Asher quite a jump in there. I think he might wants to tell us about food for him. What you like?
Anybody else want to talk about a food, or we can go on to another question?
So
Can I? Okay, sorry, Sid.
Yes, Asher, go ahead.
Okay. Sinigang is a soup native to the Philippines. Sinigang is cooked with vegetables, and I like it very much.
Thank you, Asher. Go ahead, Sid. You were gonna.
I was just going to continue discussion with a bit of a filler. Another food that I really love is called dosa, and it's one of the most crispiest foods I've ever ate, and it's one of my favorite foods ever. It's amazing.
Even we like dosa.
Even we like dosa.
I understand that. It's the best.
You can also, if you have questions about other people when they say about their food that you want to know more about, or that you don't understand, feel free to jump in and ask too. That's what we're doing, is learning about other foods and other cultures. Anyone else? Do you want a new question?
So
Maybe you can throw up one. Let's see who wants to jump on this one. Maybe we can think about something that you think that is unique from your culture, and something that you think that is common in your culture and in other cultures as well. Nantume?
So what I think is common in other cultures is cooking, of course. And what I think is known in other cultures is eating with hands and the way we peel that food, because it's totally different from peeling any other kind of food. It's like, it's very hard to learn. So you may find even like old people when they're struggling with how to peel that. So I think that's unique, kind of unique.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I've experienced somewhere close in Tanzania, and yeah, I made a mess. So I agree, that's a skill to acquire. See?
Go ahead.
Let's see. Something common in my culture is praying to God for for many reasons. For goodness, for wealth, for prosperity, and things like that. And I'm sure that many of other cultures do that too.
Mm-hmm. And something that you feel like it's unique, or that is different, or
different. I'll say the types of ways that we pray to God, and there are always different ways, and how, yeah. In every culture, there's a different way, and I'm not gonna state every single different way from this culture to another culture to another culture. We're a huge group. Other people have to join it, not me.
Can I go next?
Thank you, Sid.
So a thing that is very common in our culture is festivals. There are many festivals. The most important one that all Indians celebrate is Diwali, and we light lamps and also decorate our houses.
Thank you. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about Diwali. What's the reason for Diwali, or what's celebrated at Diwali?
Well, I'll just slide in. Diwali is like the festival that marks like the triumph over from good and evil. So like the houses are lit with light to take away all the evil in the house and darkness. And yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's what it is. Just a
Yes,
little.
we're not allowed to leave the house dark on that day, and we are also not allowed to lock it because it is believed that Lord Lakshmi visits her house that day.
Mhm.
Means like goddess Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth here in India. So it is believed that she visits your house. That's why you're not allowed to lock any doors that day.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
How long does this event last?
Alida?
Like the whole event it's for 5 days, but the main event it's on the third day. On the first day, we have this event called Dhanteras where we buy new things for our house. And then we have Choti Diwali, which is small Diwali if you do the literal translation. And then we have the main event, which is Diwali, where we do all of this. And then we have this like we have this thing, event called Govardhan Puja. It is like we worship gods, and then the last day is when it's called Bhai Dooj. Uh, it's it's um it's a festival of brothers and sisters. So it's very fun to celebrate it.
My favorite part is always the fireworks and
Parts
like
of the culture.
of the celebration. That's always my favorite part.
Uh-huh. I think in the Philippines, we also use lots of fireworks, no? Maybe you can tell us a bit about what you think is common and unique.
So yeah, definitely in the Philippines, fireworks are a very big thing. Before, in the past, you would see a lot of neighborhoods, especially during times like Christmas and New Year, they would buy up a lot of the fireworks and then release them into the air. So at a certain point in time, maybe during New Year's, like for a couple of blocks or in the entire city, everybody will be like launching their own fireworks at the same time, and then it just causes the entire sky to fill up with lights.
Thank you very much,
Can
Perrin.
I go next?
It helped me to imagine how that looked like. Yes. I didn't see who it was, if it was. But go ahead.
The most celebrated festival in my culture is Navratri. This is celebrated for 9 days, and we eat only fruits for these 9 days. And on the last day, young girls are worshipped to please Goddess Durga.
Thank you, Sriya. And I just saw in the chat in YouTube that we've got a question from Arturo. And it's a really cool question, actually. Some of you have mentioned that while you are maybe originally from the Philippines or in Saudi Arabia, I'm not sure if are you in India right now, or are you in the United States? Anyways, some of you are from one country and now living in a different one. And someone asked, what difference have you found when you move on to that different country? What called your attention? Yeah, Perrin?
So, if you look at the climate of the Philippines and the climate of Saudi Arabia, you could see that those two climates are vastly different. In the Philippines, it's an archipelago. It's an archipelago. There's lots of trees, lots of rainfall, especially. But here in Saudi Arabia, it's mostly desert and we don't get that much rain. But except one exception is that here where we live, and specifically in the city of Jeddah, which is near the ocean, there is some levels of humidity. But in places like the capital, like Riyadh, it is something like dry heat instead of wet heat or humid heat. So one thing that's especially different is also the main religion, because in the Philippines, one of the most dominant religions is Christianity or being Catholic in the Philippines. But here, it's mostly Islam. And one something that's special about Saudi Arabia is that it's also the home to many religious sites. A lot of them are Islam, but the country itself is also very close to places like Mount Sinai, which is a place that is a place in the Bible, and it's a place where a lot of pilgrims, Islamic pilgrims, they come to Makkah, they to complete their pilgrimage as part of their religion. So that's something unique about Saudi Arabia.
Thank you very much, Perrin. Alira?
Another thing I'd like to add about Saudi Arabia is that here since it's a Muslim country, pork is not allowed. So we only get to eat pork when we go to the Philippines for vacation. So pork is so common as an everyday dish in the Philippines. Like I eat so much of it when I went to when I went to vacation last year.
Also on that, there's also no alcohol either here in that just made me realize that there's also no alcohol here in Saudi Arabia either. So there are no like bars or places like that. Instead, we drink healthy things like juice.
I think that could lead to another good question, what you just brought up. What do you think is a common misconception or something that people don't know or understand about your culture?
Good question. Preston?
Yeah, so one thing about the Philippines that I have found quite unique and different, especially when I meet foreign people or when I go to other countries, is the way Filipinos show respect to other people, in a sense that we have this tradition for younger people to older people where it's called pagmamano, or it's like where you hold the hand of the other person and you put the back of the hand on your forehead, and that's a sign of showing respect to someone that's older than you. Mainly your parents, but even people who are not your parents who are older than you. And even when addressing someone and talking to someone older than you would add the words po and opo at the end of your sentence just to add a bit more respect. And even when, what do you call this? When addressing them, we never address, someone older by their first names. We address them as by a sort of nickname. For example, for older women that are kind of as old as your mom, you call them tita, and for men, you call them tito. But then for older people who are like kind of your age, like for example, me and someone who a 15-year-old me and someone who's like 20, I would call them kuya, and for a female it would be ate. And then even for our grandparents, for our grandfather we call them lolo, and for our grandmother we call them lola. So those are some of the things that what do you call this, I found different because I applied them while talking to foreign people and they kind of got confused about what I was doing. So yeah, so
Thank you for
that's
sharing,
just
Preston. Yeah, and I think these interactions between people from different cultures or living in a different culture also helps you to realize the things that are you unique part of your culture you never question, just because we are born in that culture and we always did it, and we never question it. But it's really kind of suddenly it's a shock. It's like, oh wow, but not everyone says this. Not everyone says tito and tita to to people to show respect. Let's see what Gia and Sid can tell us about India.
Who's going first? Just asking. Okay, I'll just go first because nobody asked. Okay, so one of the misconceptions that I believe are there is that people think the entire like India is one culture, but no, it's actually there's many cultures in India itself. So that's something that is a misconception that I've heard.
Another misconception that I have heard is all Indians speak Hindi, but no, but no. In India, there are 24 official languages, and only 41% of Indians have Hindi as their mother tongue. And in India, there are more than 235 mother tongues.
Wow, that's beautiful, and that's a beautiful cultural diversity that I think we can value and honor, because the way that we speak also influences the way that we think, the way that we see the world. Like what Perrin was saying before about those words to show respect, that also kind of integrates in the way that we see respect being portrayed in culture and society. So really like this idea of ensuring that this language diversity that we have in the world keeps being, and we make it a part of it, even though we use sometimes English like now, so that we all can communicate, but making sure that we kind of maintain and support this cultural and language diversity. Nantume, I'm looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you so much. For me, when I talk about respect in my country, so it's like when we are greeting or talking to people, when we are greeting, we are always kneeling, mainly for the girls, and for the boys also when they are young, but for the female, even though they are old, maybe when they are greeting, like maybe our king, we are not allowed to greet him when we are standing, and that is the way we go down, and it's like doing press up, and that's for boys. It's like press up, but you put this head this side and this side, then you stand up, and it's showing respect to the king. And for the girls, it's like, it's called okulanya in Luganda, but you kneel down, and that is the way you do your arms. And the other thing is when you're talking to old people, you're looking in their eyes, and that's to show that you're giving them attention and respecting them. And I've heard that maybe in some cultures it's like not good to look people in the eyes, but here it shows respect and you're paying attention to people. And we call old people here, maybe when you're talking to a stranger, you're not supposed to call them, that is always a way we have to call them, like greeting them, you say Nkulamsiza, like it's the short form, the short way of greeting them, just like in Arabic they say Assalamu alaikum. And we call the old people who maybe those like maybe above 70, like that, we call them Jaja. And when you call them that name, they will be happy, and it's both for the female and the male, so they will be happy when you call them that, and they will see that maybe you're humble to them and fine with them.
Thank you very much. We are learning so much today about cultures. Go ahead. Again, sorry.
I can show all India. India has an area of 5 times France. It is impossible for a guide to know everything. If you find a very good and very competent guide in north, but he will not be able to make you visit south. If you decide to take a guided tour in India, always choose local guides. They can make you discover hidden treasures of their religion.
Nice, thank you very much.
These are great conversations. I'm learning things that I didn't know. And um, why do you think, like, I know we're down to probably just a few minutes left. So I want you to either like, why do you think this is such an important conversation to have? Why do we spend time on this? And did it help you in any way? Perrin, go ahead.
I think this is. I think that we're all it's the purpose of this gift is to really to help people from all around the world um, innovate and collaborate with one another, like as a platform to be able to see the works of other people from all around the world. And I think that it's important to have these kind of conversations because it's also important to get the opinions and also look for the knowledge of other people who may be half around the world, half across around the world from you. And that way, you get to adjust your ideas and also be able to receive suggestions from people who have grown up in different environments and can possibly look at problems from a different perspective at you, and maybe that'll help you gain a perspective of your own that'll help you solve that problem. So that's why I think having conversations with people from other countries, people who have different environments, people who've been raised differently, who have different experiences, and who have different tastes of life can help you also possibly look into yourself and also improve yourself in the way that you think.
Well said.
I totally agree with Perrin. And like I think we're having these kind of conversations so we know more about other countries and other people's culture. And since we are in the era of globalization, we should know like what other cultures are like, and when talking to a person from that culture, not do anything that is not accepted there. So it's very important to have these kind of conversations to know more about the other peoples and other countries' culture.
Thank you, Gia.
How are we doing on time, Amy?
Julie said we're closing the show, all of you with us together. So we have a few more minutes because this is an important conversation. And I think misunderstandings across cultures that can sometimes lead to conflict or things that are just because of not the correct communication, understanding. And so I am learning so much from all of you that I didn't know about some other countries, greeting each other and conversations and interesting food. So is there other things about why you think this conversation is important, or if David, if you have another question or something that maybe you just now thought of that you really want to share?
I'll leave it to Steve because I think he's really keen on speaking, and then I can add more after that.
Okay, so I like this conversation because it brings multiple cultures together in a way that we can all understand each other, and we can discuss about different topics from those cultures and actually are not like lead to conflict, but actually lead to understanding, which is really important when you're communicating with other people. There are many places where you can talk with other cultures, but this I feel like there's one thing in all of the people here, and since it's called gift, it's innovation. And for the least, there's something same about all of us, one thing that we can actually connect to, and that's why I really love this conversation.
Thank you very much, Sid. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this conversation with all of you. I think, as Amy and Gija said as well, like cultures can be a very touchy topic that people can feel about, oh, I don't know if talking about this or not. But the beautiful thing here has been that we are talking from curiosity, from wanting to learn, from wanting to share with others, and just celebrate the cultural differences and everything that we can learn from each other. And that's beautiful. I think that as Sid was saying, we're in a global world, we're exchanging with each other, we're all the time changing and evolving as cultures, as people, as a community, the way that communicate, the way that we share things. And it's beautiful to be aware that there are many other ways to do things, and that this cultural diversity help us to think and see problems, issues, and things that we want to improve from different perspectives, and continue evolving as a global society with the multicultural diversity that we're embracing here. I think we've got people from all around the world, and this has been fantastic. And we just got Julie and Jake who join us for the end of the meeting. So maybe they want to share something with us about culture, about how GIFT has been for them this January.
I wanted to expand on the topic for a second, and just to share with you, it was almost 3 years ago, in a few months, it'll be 3 years ago, that Jake and I started the Global Innovation Field Trip. And the first time we did it, there were only 4 of us hosts from the United States that were taking part in it. And there were people from about 15 countries at that time that were taking part in it. But we could never have continued this program like that. It wouldn't have worked. It's physically, emotionally too difficult for a very small group to do. So we set out to meet more people across the world, and we did. And it grew and it grew because we wanted to build more relationships with other people and other cultures. And now most all of our events, there's about 33 hosts from 14 different countries. Some are old like me and Jake. Some are young like Sid and Perrin and Alex and Gia, who have all hosted in Alira. And probably at someday soon, it will be Asher and Surya that are helping too. But the point is, we learned a long time ago that we do good things, but together we can do some great things. And I thank you all for that, and for being a part of that.
Julie. Thank you for this initiative. I mean, when things come out of love and come out of wanting to support children and youth to be the best version of them, and sharing with everyone how they're already doing this, innovating and creating, this is what happens. That you get more and more people interested in what you're doing and coming and joining forces.
And I think we can all give a big round of applause to Jake and Julie for starting this and making this all possible. Because we wouldn't all be here together without you taking the leadership role and carrying this on so that we could be here and learn about each other and share our passions and our culture and all those good things. So we appreciate you. And I know you guys must be exhausted.
Well, thankfully, we don't stay up 24 hours. It just seems like it's 24 hours of a lot of jumping back on and stuff. So all of your voices are so important. And I just want to keep this platform going and help you build other platforms that you can share and you can invite other people to share. It doesn't always have to be just GIFT. I mean, you could do a lot of things out there. And I hope that GIFT is a model for you to take forward in your life and to just keep it growing and keep being inclusive of everybody around the world, male, female, young, old, it doesn't matter. Everyone's important.
As you end this, you've got to make a good punchline, or else this is not going to be good. This is really not going to be good. I know the end of the gift session is in like, I don't know, 10 minutes. You have to make a good line at the end.
All right, Sid. So what's your punchline to end this? Come on, you're pushing us here. Come on, what have you got to share?
Let's see. Okay, I'll go with my regular one. Innovation forever. Oh, I don't have a good one. Somebody else may come up with a good one so the end of the recording is good and innovation.
How about a quiz? Who knows when the next global innovation field trip will be? Without cheating and looking on the website.
Darn it.
Lyra, do you know?
April 15 to 16.
Very good. Very good. April 15 and 16. We want every one of you back in some capacity, whether you're a host, a presenter, somebody in one of these discussions, in any way that you can. Invite your friends. They have voices too, and we'd like to hear them. Don't invite your enemies, but do invite your friends. Jake, any parting words for today?
No, I just really enjoy listening to the future. It's like having a crystal ball, and you get to see what the future is going to be like. And I think it's going to be very good. We've got some real good people here. So thank you all very much, and don't quit, keep working, and it'll be a very exciting and bright and wonderful future.
Karen. You're still muted. There you go.
So I'd like to thank you, Julie, Jake, and the rest of the team for the pleasure and the privilege of being able to co-host once again here at GIFT. And before we go, I'd just like to share some parting words, specifically a quote that I came upon. The world needs dreamers and the world needs doers. But above all, what the world needs most are dreamers that do. And I believe that I've seen many of those dreamers that do right here in the past 24 hours. So I'd like to thank you guys once again for the opportunity to see so many potential young innovators.
Sriya, did you have something you wanted to share?
Thank you, Julie ma'am and Jake sir, for giving me the opportunity. I really like the gift.
Thank you for teaching us.
Yes, thank you, Sriya. I think you said there a very important word, opportunity. And it's when we give the opportunity to children and youth to take control of their learning and their lives and start making significant changes in the way that they want the world to work. This is what we can see, and it's beautiful. So thank you for creating this space, this opportunity for many to share how each of you is transforming, it's impacting your communities around the world.
Wait a minute, I do have something to say.
Got one too.
We didn't give anybody anything. We didn't give you an opportunity. We merely created a platform and you took the opportunity to be on this. And I mean, that's psychologically a real important point. Don't wait for somebody to give you your success. Your success is out there. You have to take it. You have to make it. And so I think psychologically you have to realize that Julie and I didn't give you anything. All we did is created a Zoom link and you made the program.
Alex?
I just want to say thank you, Julie and Jake, for making this possible.
Well, thank you for coming on and teaching us things. We appreciate it. Sid?
Okay, I just came up with this weird quote-ish thing. Open your mind to light. Open your mind to knowledge. Open your mind to success, and open your mind to failure. Then you will have an innovation. There you have it. It's my quote.
Sounds very good. Any other last words before we hang up this gift and start planning for the next one? Gia?
So thank you, Julie, ma'am, and Jake sir, for the platform of where we can show our innovations, and the 24-hour event, the 24 hours here in our house, it's not less than a festival. Everybody is busy. They're like, this presentation's coming up, now that discussion, now that co-host, now that. and we are preparing for all of the events that we are participating in. Also, Sriya always says that I want to be a co-host, but my mom says you're still a little small. Maybe in the next few years.
She will be good when she is ready though, won't she? Very good. Well, thank you all, and we will see you April 15th, 16th, the next Global Innovation Field Trip. Anyone who wants to learn more about GIFT, go to globalinnovationfieldtrip.org. See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.